Hi everyone and welcome back. I've often shared a story over the years about my dear friend from Atlanta, Georgia in the US. He was a missions director, and on one of his many trips overseas he discovered he had a little small sore on his ankle. And his wife said to him, "Don't you think you need to get a doctor to look at that?" And he said, "Nah, don't worry, it's so small, it's so insignificant." And yet it disturbed him and worried him, and so finally he went back to the doctor and went to the doctor, and the doctor checked and found that he had an advanced stage of cancer. And underneath the skin, all of these tumors had grown. And so he had surgery, he had all that removed, and he was put on to some treatment which lasted about 18 months. And unfortunately, he passed away. And you know, the Bible tells us that sin is deceitful. It's not the act of sin that is the problem. It's the continuation of sin that is the problem. So we can sin and we can say, "Lord, forgive me." And God does forgive us. The Bible tells us He is faithful and He is just and He will cleanse us from all unrighteousness. But it's the continuing of that sin. That's the real issue. And what we don't realize, it's like that little cancer that just lies under the sin and just gets worse and worse and worse and worse, and eventually will destroy. The Bible refers sin to leprosy. When leprosy comes on a body, the skin will become very sore, it becomes a bit red, and then that seems to go and just leaves a bit of numbness, and you don't worry about it. And what you don't realize is that leprosy has attacked the nerve endings. They're not functioning as well. That's why you don't have much feeling. But that leprosy is now growing and attacking all the nerves and destroying everything underneath. And eventually you can damage a limb and lose it. And so people have died through leprosy, and it's a long, hideous and painful death. And sin is the same thing. If we allow it to continue, at first it's a problem, but then we get used to it, and it just, it's a bit numb and affects us in a way, in a sense, but it's the continuation of it that does all the damage. We need to take sin very, very seriously. Psalm 66:18 says, "If I hold sin and iniquity in my heart, the Lord will not hear me." That's the danger. We're cut off from God. We read in Isaiah that your sins and iniquities have separated you from God. So that's the danger. That's the ultimate end. So what's important for us is to make sure that we are walking free from sin. Not just the forgiveness of sin, but we're allowing sin to be purged, to be dealt with from our lives, so that we can be free from it, free from the habits, free from these issues, so that we can keep ourselves in that relationship and communion with the Father. May the Lord truly help us. God bless.